Good day to you, good chaps. And this is the afternoon. It's lunch right now, so good evening, I guess. I'm pretty sure. So right now, I had a question, a purposeful question for you. Is it okay to love your destroyer? If you love your creator, so if you love your creator, shouldn't you love your destroyer at the same time? Thou shalt not hate the enemy. Thou shalt love the enemy as a family member or something like that. I don't know, man. I got Zaxby's time. Like, like the small grievances I have with us is like it's like I feel like once you act on your intrusive thoughts, right? You tend not to question anything. You just go with the flow. And going with the flow is such a great thing, but at the same time, I feel like it ruins the immersion of this life. You know, because if you're always taking a step back and trying to immerse yourself in the moment and trying to remember the moment, you're technically letting the moment go because you're trying too hard just to trying to be in it, just enjoy it. You know. Like if I'm focusing on this drink, right? I'm trying to figure out what every material comes from and what flavor it comes from and what sugar they use, what canes they use, right? Instead of just enjoying the drink, it tends to throw it off because your mind is going so fast over the things that you don't really think about, right? It's okay to think about the meticulous details of everything that you have, like where do these headphones come from, with this busted tank top, the bonnet, all that. It's good, but once you complicate things and once you try to figure out why everything's so complex, it's hard to truly understand. Which me, right? I probably don't even remember this, but I'm cool with the individual that I had problems with. You know, we're on good terms now. We're going back to college because spring break's almost over, and what I come to figure out, I'm not really good with emotions. You know, and I feel like I was a little bit hurt because you know I was read correctly. She read me like a book. She was like, you're able to make all these thought provoking questions and all this, but you can't figure it out for yourself. You can't be emotionally competent for a other individual. Which kind of hurt. It hurt your boy ego, but which is kind of true. I feel like I'm a little bit callous with others. Like I have empathetic, I have empathy, but I'm not no sociopath. But I don't feel guilty as I used to about some things. And maybe that's just the hatred in my heart, my inner hatred. 'Cause everybody wants to be mysterious and be thought provoking, but sometimes it comes off a little bit posh, like you're trying too hard. You know. I want to put this drink on the garbage can, but like I'm kind of scared. I'm I have a deep rooted allergy to pollen, but it's whatever. This is not even the original drink. This is some tea I made. It's not no southern tea. It's not hella sweet. How do you think it would be? You know, but it's pretty good. Yeah, this bee is like, um, you know, I'm wondering if this truly is, like, am I gonna rot in this spot forever? Is it like, like, will I be able to? learn from my mistakes and adapt from it, or am I just gonna be that one individual that's, oh, he's aware of the problem, he knows how to solve it, but for some reason he won't take action to change it, you know? Right? There was a point in time in my life where I used to spew out lies just to make me feel better about myself. Like, I care about my life, I care about my upkeep. Oh, but deep down I knew I didn't care if I lived or died. But I didn't wanna be perceived as that. So I make jokes, try to hide it, be this so-called suave dude with the girl, shit like that. It didn't come off as real authentic. I was my real self to some certain individuals, but the rest I wasn't true, you know? This is Ducey. I know y'all see him. I see him almost every day. He's he's literally a staple in almost every video. I might have him in a music video too. I ain't gonna lie, but we're gonna be recording it off of iPhone, so it's not gonna look so hot anyway. So, but still, we're gonna bring him in. Why give away when you don't have anything to give? There's, I feel like there's a middle ground from, there's like a plateau of you trying to be perceived as something and actually being that something you are perceived, right? There's a notion when, when somebody gives you like a quota, or be like, oh, you're a very incisive or well-going person. You want to keep that, right? You want to keep what they said about you, as a friend. So you try to keep it up. You're a very smart person, so you want to study more to keep that up, so that opinion can still be true. Even if it wasn't true. Goose, come here. Don't be going over there. I think, there's other reasons to that too, but next thing, you see him as it's a beautiful dog. He's a terrier, a Yorkie. What is he? Expensive, like $4,000, right? Emotional support for my mother. But I feel like some people, they have kids, or they have a dog to fill that gaping hole in their life because they felt like they wasn't important. So raising another living organism, or perceived as a mothering person, it changes like the mental, right? If you can't afford to have a child or a dog, first thing you shouldn't do, lay down, do the little Doug Dizzle, or cause more turmoil in your life and cause more headache. But that's not what I'm here to say. I'm still on the fact of, should you love your destroyer as you love your creator? Now, if your creator is also your destroyer, do you keep the same passion for them? Like they made a had a thought of you in your creation, but what happened if they wasn't a good individual, But you keep the necessity, the emotional aspect was not there. But they provided with you, financially, make sure you're fed, and you make sure you have, clothes on your back and a roof over your head. So, right. If you count that as something that is truly something you can withhold, right? Life is a blessing, I say, but also a curse. Because once you're stuck down here, you tend to really draw your own verse, you know? You gotta write your story down. You gotta start rhyming with it. You gotta figure out, what do you want to do? What do you want to create? Or what do you want to follow? Because sometimes you feel hollow, you know? You feel very hollow, you know? It's really hard to swallow. But no, for real though, it is. It's a beautiful day outside. It's spring. The flowers are blooming. Trees are, they're not wilting anymore. So yeah, but pollen's gonna kick my ass. So I'm gonna try to stay inside as best of my ability. You know, I'm still looking for more work. I hate working to the the fiber of my being, but I got to, cause I got responsibilities. I got people to take care of. You know, it's a small price to pay for living, I guess. But you can't complain all day. You can't complain, like, you're dealt the cards you're given. You're dealt with the cards you got. Uh, just I wouldn't say I got the worst, but it's bottom five, bro. Man, not bottom five. Like, it's bottom 100. But you gotta think, being born in America, that's an uprise. The possibility of being born in America is like less than 32%. I don't know. I don't know the percentile of it, but I know it's pretty low. You gotta think, cause I hate when people like, there's kids in Africa starving. Like, yeah, there's the kids starving everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But they just think Africa continent, bro. It just doesn't have prevalent water. They have cities and all that. There's places starving everywhere, but like, you ain't got thing freaking fucking Schlokovich or something that's like gone, right? There's kids out there that don't have a phone, that are shoot. What's a better comparison? Dude, what's a better comparison to bro? You know? I feel like the better comparison would be like North Korea, where they have concentration camps and torture chambers that we so-called don't know. Yeah, but I don't want to be like biased because I don't know the full information. But they fighting. They fighting. They fighting. There's two bees tussling. I think they fighting for who's gonna be king. Hey, what's up, dude? Did you see this? Oh, you can't look that high. Well, he's like less than 2 feet off the ground, bro. So dudes don't really see what we see. What? You wanna go inside? The door open. They busting. I just don't want to get in their way, cause they is tussling right now. I could get a frying pan and just pop both of them. But I know if they, when they got contact with me, I'm out of my business, bro. But like that's what I was saying. I'm thinking like, yeah, North Korea is probably a good comparison. 'Cause, they're not allowed to have phones. Some areas, even when they do have phones, it's very heavily watched and guarded. Everything, it's pretty struck down right there. And you disrespect the dictator, they kill you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have blessings like being able to eat, have a phone, roof over my head, and necessities, which is I feel like that's human decency. Like I know it's crazy, but being able, like, it's bad where you're kind of rethinking if you should have bought food for yourself, and you're like, damn, should I save that for something else more important? Like you shouldn't feel guilty feeding yourself or feeding others. Now you bought some fucking expensive ass clothes or something, then yeah. But we're in a point in time where everything, it's hard to really truly understand. But yeah, I feel like the things that are so ubiquitous in our life we tend to take for granted, which is obvious because you know being obese, that's not a blessing. We take that for granted. Being fed so well to the point where you're gaining weight, is that's a blessing in some way. Like it's so good that it hurts. Being able to succumb to your vices and become addicted, you know. Even though I wouldn't say that's a blessing, but you know, you're being able to do that. Bro, they ads sound like fucking my people arguing sometimes. It's just a weird thing, man. You don't, what do I used to say when I was younger? You can't be Captain Save-A-Ho if you're not. If you can't be Captain Save-A-Ho if your powers are not for what's wishing. So basically, what's the corny thing to be like? Oh, girls want Spider-Man but walk past Peter Parker every day. But in my logic, I see like you can't be Captain Save-A-Ho if you're not willing to be plain Jane Parker, I guess. You know, you know. I know I'm a bad individual. I'm not the greatest person, right? But it doesn't make it no better if you start to call other people out and be like, well, nobody's perfect. That doesn't excuse you to be an asshole. It doesn't excuse you to mistreat others. And I feel like I have mistreated the person that has loved me unconditionally. You know, I feel like the only unconditional love you should be able to get is from your family members. Everything else is under conditions, but even then, there's conditions in that too. There's a difference from, I'd rather have loyalty than love, because, love can get you killed. But if you take a further step, I'd rather you be faithful. You know, not loyal, be faithful. You know, and if you can't do that, then why stay? And I feel like I came off manipulative in some areas of my life. So now I try to rethink and repurpose everything I say. I try to take time and be meticulous in what I say. Because I know karma comes striking me down pretty fast and hard. Karma strikes me down hard pretty almost every day. But I can't complain because some say I am deserving of it. But am I deserving to lose people that I love to death? Probably not. But, it kind of hurts still. Because, everybody loses a loved one. But seeing them being lost is way harder than what it seems. People think it makes you hardcore. No, it fucks with your brain chemistry. You know, people always want to be Mr. Big Guy or the hoodest dude on the block, especially on the internet. You can't argue with anybody on the internet, though. It's a waste of time. But what I truly fear is there's gonna come a point in time where those words that usually will get you killed, those words will be so desensitized and so not desaturated, but so saturated into a point that sometimes words lose meaning and gain a new meaning over trials and trials of years in the air, you know, like slang words and all that. But it'll get to a point where what you say will have no type of no type of excuse me. I wouldn't say integrity. No type of essence. No type of power into them how they used to. Because the power of the tongue was, you know, is a pretty strong thing. But I feel like I'm babbling. You know, I try to simplify it to the point where you can understand it without using any big words, trying to sound smart. That's why I like trying to have a simplification in everything. But the one thing that I cannot simplify is emotions. The most complex thing. The most complex thing. Most complex thing is the emotions part. That's why I want to study the brain. You know, study emotions, study the psychology, the philosophy of it. So that's the only reason I would go to college is that in sports. But my grandfather wants me to do something other than that, like engineering. I'd rather do architecture, but you can't knock it till you try it, you know? Like that trade school I went to, I used to hate that thing, but, you know, after, I guess, conditioning, I wouldn't say Stockholm Syndrome because it wasn't bad, but enough conditioning, you tend to see it that, like, oh, this is pretty good, I should keep on going. But yeah, how y'all boy been doing, man? I don't be talking to y'all direct. Well, let me stop saying y'all. I need to say you, because there's only one person. How are you doing? Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh, somebody about to get pulled over. We're so stuck in this cycle. It's either you're stuck in a cycle of mediocrity or you're stuck in a cycle that you kind of made for yourself. But once you create something that you didn't want to create with somebody else, you sign your life away, you signed your soul away. And the only way to get your soul back is through payments or through death, which is crazy. It's like a death row contract or some shit. You know, nobody wants to be a walking stereotype, I say. Or know-it-all asshole that think they're smarter than everybody. I hate those niggas. Cause I was kind of one of those people, and I hate those people. Every fireman being, you're not supposed to hate anybody, but those people, I wouldn't waste time on giving hate. Like, but I have a good amount of disdain for people like that. That like know what you're saying, but still corrects you and shit like that purposefully. I hate that shit. Hey man, new Spider-Man movie coming out. Don't forget I'm big on superheroes, so that boy tapping with that. I wish I had a bigger fan base so we just all go to the movies and watch Spider-Man, bruh. But I don't. Most of my fan base don't watch me. They only watch my shorts, or they probably got their own life. Like they're too old or super duper young to go. I'm pretty sure I don't have any subscribers that's like around my age. Like, what can I feel like 16 to 18 and up. Because 16, that's where you can kind of do everything except like leash shit, you know? Like you can drive and do all your other things. Yeah, I don't have nobody 16, 18 and up, bro. I feel like maybe I do, but they're not like right there. I feel like it's like 15 and below, or it's goddamn 30 and up, which is nothing wrong with that. 30 years super duper young. I ain't gonna lie. 30 years still. I wouldn't say still a kid, but you're young. Bro. You're still experiencing life and shit. Yeah, man. Cause the people that created me, my biological father, he's like fuck, he damn near 50. My mom's like 40, pushing 40 something. Yeah, they had me. They didn't have me young. They had me like at my age or older, like around in their like mid 20s or something. That's a good age to have a kid, but. Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this short. I was finna push it like the 30. I might still push it to 30. Who knows? Alright, I'll fall off. Alright, I'm done. Gotta put in some more drink. You could actually should I make a music video in this fit? It's not even a fit, but should I make a music video? I'll make a music video in this shit. Call it the Zaxby Sipper. Zone Zaxby's, man. I've been talking like this, so I was like. Y'all see that? Don't get that Zabs all like salad. Them boy I be talking zazzy. Well, language is a social construct, is it not? Like everything was made up until it was solidified as something that is fact, right? But I ain't gonna go too far like, oh, 2 + 2 might actually mean 3 type shit. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not going that deep on trying to question the foundation of mathematics, you know? Or be like, water isn't good for you, air is killing you slowly, which technically is, but like, you know what I'm saying? Everything, you know, we're not gonna be like everything hypothetical. You don't eat this, don't eat that. Everything's processed, trans fat, you're gonna die, saturated fat. Bro, the fuck you want me to eat then? Everything that's good for me too expensive. I might have to eat the slop and just work it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make like 3 shorts for this video. Cause bro, the shorts I've been making, they haven't been hitting, bro, at all. I don't know what's going on. My fault. I really want this video to hit. I don't know. Idiocracy. Everybody think they're smarter than what they actually are. Even me, bro. Oh shit. And everybody thinks they're genius. They don't need to study or do research on anything. It's okay to be wrong sometimes, but I used to hate being wrong. Well, I hate being wrong, but I didn't notice that I used to like just deny it. I was like a contrarian or some shit. Yeah. Just disagree, just about disagree. Well, I'm about to go use the lavatory and go in my room and take a little nap. But it was great talking to you. Excuse me. Yeah. I was gonna make some TikToks, but no, I'll just take the TikToks from this video. Love you, twin. Stay happy, twin.
And stay blessed, twin. And have a good day, twin. Bye.